Good afternoon, Council. Mr. Allen, the speech that I, hi, the speech that I yielded, we're gonna forego, simply due to my forgiving character and short attention span. But even if I wasn't bipolar, I reserve the right to redress whenever I deem fit. Yeah. Speaking of mental illnesses, where's the call from May 22nd? I'm not a preacher, I just be preaching, so I wasn't invited to the meeting. But what about the people without a pastor? They say, yeah, separation in church and state, just not church and city. Moving on, I will tell everyone how I perceived the shooting. At minute marker 23:36:15, personally, I would have shot. She was making me nervous. But that's coming from a regular person with anxiety, not from a trained public servant. I just know that this wouldn't have happened in Fairmount. 7 seconds. For 7 seconds, she danced from the living room to the hallway. Question, where is the team that claims to work around the clock, but the community cannot find past 5? Because this wouldn't have happened in Rivercrest. 7 seconds. 7 seconds before she was shot, she had moved a couple of inches, if that. Is that how the crisis team would have responded? If so, have them put in their 2 weeks. If not, why aren't we cross-trained? Why is it shots and not tasers? Why is it charges and not treatment? A couple of weeks ago, I met Notes for the first time. And just like with every other public servant, I thanked him for his service, and I said, even though I was raised to think that cops were the enemy, I want to help change that narrative. Because I don't want the generational curses that I break just to be financial. But here I am, defending the wrong person. Speaking of the wrong person, Mr. Mata, I love him for plenty of reasons. One, he has helped to identify why children run from cops and not to y'all. The only threat that he represents is the threat to accountability, the threat of the culture of torture, the culture in which that panel emphasized, $1 million on a panel, wasted. Now, had we taken that $700,000 and invested it into the communities that have been affected the most, I can only imagine, but here we are, just finishing Cinco de Mayo and prepping for Juneteenth. Everybody get ready for the cameras. Smile. Say cheese. Cheese.
Our next speaker is Ricardo.
Council, my name is James Smith. I live in District 8. For the new council members on the board, I'm the neighbor of Tatiana Jefferson. As we approach the 4-year anniversary of her murder, I'm here to simply say there's still business for you guys to attend to. I don't know if you watch Fortitude. It's a YouTube channel, I guess. And I saw my chief of police doing a narrative of his department as he drove through the city of Fort Worth. And I listened to him praise his officers, which was good because there are some good officers, as I've said many times before. I listened to that narrative for 30 minutes almost. And then there was one part of it where I started to notice the homes that he was passing. And I realized he was coming down my street. He was driving down Tatiana Memorial Parkway. But in that drive down Tatiana Memorial Parkway, he was mentioning somebody that moved here that liked Fort Worth because of, I guess, the Fort Worth way or whatever. And he mentioned that there was an uprising about George Floyd, and Fort Worth was hurting, and they were trying to heal. That was offensive to me. Because in that video, it was clear that he passed Tatiana's house. And it was clear that, I don't know who's controlling the camera, but as he passed her home, the camera flipped to catch the rest of her home. That was hurting to me. That was stabbing me, not in my back, right in my heart. Because as he passed her home, given the narrative of the Fort Worth Police Department, he could have simply said, we've had incidents in Fort Worth involving Aaron Dean, whoever, the truth. I told you guys about narratives. If the narrative is a truthful narrative, you won't have a problem with it. But that was hurtful to drive down a street with a cartel's name a mile long on every street post. You pass, the camera even saw her face on the mural, and then you pass her home and don't mention her name? Say her name. The trial was passed to the court. That's over now. So it's back in you guys' lap. It's time for accountability. It's time for accountability for Tatiana Jefferson. Thank you.